So you'll notice from the benchmarks that my brand new CPU, the Ryzen 5 1600X, actually gives me slight graphics improvements. I'm still using the NVIDIA GTX 960, but your CPU does help out your graphics card. He does still have to send it all the inputs with your mouse and keyboard and all that. So remember, your CPU is just as important as your graphics card. But as you can clearly see, it only gives me a slight boost, and obviously my next upgrade should be for this system a for BlackJaq a new graphics card. I intend on buying if I can. If I have more money, I'll go higher, but at least a 1060 6 gig, because that's at least twice as powerful as what I've got now. And you'll also should have noticed in the physics tests, anybody, as far as like AI calculations and physics go, that is actually CPU based when it comes to video games. So that's why my old FX 6100 was only getting like 10 FPS while trying to process some of those scenes, while the Ryzen 5 1600X was getting up to like 50 to like completely like playable speeds. All right, anybody, I think it's time for what you've been waiting for. I'll have overlaid on this little talking part after the benchmarks the 4 pictures I have of WhiteJaq. I would have video footage of him like you're going to see next for BlackJaq, but once you see BlackJaq, you're going to understand why I didn't want to wait as soon as the motherboard and the SSD, which were the final 2 pieces I needed, finally showed up Monday morning. So here's BlackJaq. There he is. Alright, I got some phone footage here in Sony Vegas, and I can just talk over it. This is the Fantex P400 case. That is the Gigabyte B350 Gaming 3 motherboard. There's my H60 Corsair all-in-one cooler from WhiteJaq. There's the 960. The case came with the 2 black fans that you see there in the front. The top one was mounted where the radiator is. I gotta scroll up in Vegas so I can see where the stuff's gonna end. That's where the RGB button is, and if you click it, it changes the color of not only this little LED underneath the bottom of the case in the front next to the Fantex logo, but it came with a strip that I hooked up to the case and I mounted it up to the top. So right there, I'm just cycling through the colors. Oh, I love it. There we go. And then I wish Vegas would show me the name of the shot. In one of these, I take the case off when we get a little closer. I was just kind of filming to waste time. Oh, this is the one where I show if you hold it, the case has 3 different settings. First, there's just on and off. This is fade. That's not the system. That's me flipping through the colors to get back to the white. And it'll just fade in and out. There's an RGB header on the motherboard, but it's a different pin. I tried hooking it up to the strip so that little you see on the motherboard, that thing on the right, that's RGB2. There's video footage of me changing that. But it's a different connector, so I couldn't hook it up so that the case and the motherboard sync up with each other, which really sucks. But that's okay. RGB was the last thought, I'm going to admit that. I was just going through and I found this motherboard, and it was like $20 extra from another one I was thinking about. And I was just scrolling through the features, and it's just like, hey, there's a little RGB strip on the right side of it. And I was like, you know what? That'd be pretty cool. Here's the RGB Fusion software that Gigabyte gives you. And I'm just demonstrating it with the little bar on the motherboard. So you go on pulse, and it pulses. Now I'm just clicking and changing colors. Now there's a lot more options in the RGB Fusion. I think it shows like 9 of them, but you can't do ones like I can't do ones like wave because my motherboard's RGB is literally just, you should be able to see it on that little bar. The top and the bottom are the LEDs, and they're shooting the light through that plastic piece. So it can't do to do a wave of color. It would have to turn them on and off in sequence. There would have to be a strip. So if the case could do wave, the strip that's mounted up on the top would do it. But that's fine. Let's see. I've got a lot of footage to go through, so I'm just going to let this play and just kind of ramble, I guess. See, there it shows them as 3 zones, but they're not actually 3 separate zones. I wish you could control the 2 LEDs separately. The one you saw on the left, the motherboard in the bottom left-hand corner has like a very small line of color. It's so small you can barely see it. But there is like a little, very thin line that changes color. You should have seen it right there. The main one was green. You should have seen a little green in the bottom left corner. Now I'm just kind of going through like, hey, this thing has a smart thing where you can set it to tell you information about your. Oh, there you go. You can see the green in the bottom left. I was going for a black, white, and red theme, but apparently I didn't get enough red. But, I'm actually okay with that. Okay, here's the side panel off, so we're going to just shove the phone in there. I have that's one of the Corsair SP fans. I bought that to upgrade WhiteJaq like a year ago, probably 2 years ago. He came with a red ring, and I thought about it, but I really like this design of. Yeah, that's ugly as crap. The power supply came with this. It's yeah, it's a 6 8-pin graphics card one's split, so it just has that one dangling there. I like how the covers for the slots in the back alternate between black and white. There's the back of the case. I don't know if you have to have one of the APUs from AMD to use that DVI port. You probably have to, but I'm not worried about it because I have a graphics card. We're gonna go up the front. Oh, the power button by the way, the power button is the same color as whatever you have the case set to. Go down here. There's the Fantex logo. It actually lights up a little bit. You just can't see it. Oh, and those are the little screws that keep on the tempered glass. Is that what you call it? Front panel. Isn't he beautiful? And he's got space there on the right. You could put like a radiator and stuff. This case and I are going to be friends for a long time. I could put 2 graphics cards in here. Actually, I don't know if this board is Sly compatible. I didn't check that. If not, oh well. I'll buy a new. He was $100. I'll buy another. My old motherboard was $100. If I have the money to buy two new graphics cards because, you know, I'm not going to buy a second Strix 960. I would upgrade. There, what am I doing? Oh, I'm pulling off the front panel. It's not as violent as that looked. And if you look, the intake for the top and the bottom on the front of the case, where the two fans are getting from, both have these little snap-on filters. That's really cool. It's got little filters, one there on the top and one on the bottom. The power supply has its own filter. And then I don't think I ever go to the top of the case, but there's a slot for two fans on top of the case. It just has a magnetic Get the freaking thing out of the camera. It's just like going all black. No, stop it. Make your bed. Yeah, there's the LED for the front. So I need a new graphics card. Let's say about me just upgrading it as it is. Again, this looks more violent than it's less violent than it actually looks. It's just popping it back in. I would buy. You can buy them separately on Newegg. You don't have to buy the kit, so it's cheaper. Fantex themselves makes the extensions. I will buy a 6-pin extension that's like white for that graphics card. So not only is it one cord, but it kind of goes with the design. Oh, that's me messing with the RGB again. I really like this look of like the whole, like it's all black and white, and then there's just this tiny little bit of red. I just think that's really cool. How far are we getting? Let me scroll down in Vegas. Okay, we have a little more footage. Let's see, I made it blue, and I think I'm trying to make the case blue. My phone makes it a little faded in the footage. It looks so much better in person. Trust me, if I had like a GoPro, which I'd like to get one of those one day, I would show it to you. Oh, that's the last of the footage. Oh, it's not as dark as I thought it was going to be. Just playing back on my phone. I grabbed my flashlight because I thought that would help, but I guess it's not as dark. I mean, it is a black case. Those are the connectors for the RGB. Yeah, I had to have a flashlight like the whole time I was back here. No, no, not. No, when I was like trying to feed stuff through the front, like screws or something, I was trying to do something like that. Because, you know, everything was black and the case was black. So I kept like having to like reach around being like, I can't see that. That black square you see to the left of the SSD, the WD one, that is the SATA power connector for the RGB. He has to be crammed like sideways like that. There's about like somewhere between half an inch and an inch of space. So I think I did a pretty good job cable managing. I could organize stuff better. I do have things like crisscrossing a little bit. But that's like the best I could do. Not bad. Those little things that say Fantex, those are all like Velcro straps that loop through little metal pieces in the case, and it just holds it all and it helps press it all flat against the case. If those weren't there, cable management would be impossible. All right, anybody, I'm getting to the end of my footage here. Thank you for watching. This is my new computer, BlackJaq. I can't wait to do some amazing things with him. And oh yeah, I'm gonna finish showing you him boot. Alrighty, I got the stopwatch on my phone here. Just wait till I click it and go. WhiteJaq would take like a minute and 25 seconds to get to the Windows start screen. I would just come home, hit the power button, and then just like go put my like book bag away or whatever. And stop. 26 seconds. Nice. Well, anybody, I hope you're impressed as I am, and I'll see you next time.